Welcome to Power in Words, a sanctuary where language becomes the vessel for your deepest transformation and where we seek to uncover the dormant strength residing within your soul. Today, we embark on a journey crucial to your soul. It asks you to pause the relentless motion of daily life and look into the mirror to answer one profound question, a question that visionary Simon Sinek placed at the center of human motivation, a concept so simple, yet so often overlooked. That question is not what you wish to achieve, it is simply why. Imagine for a moment the sensation of waking up on a gray, nondescript Tuesday morning, the alarm cutting through the silence of a room that feels strangely empty despite being filled with the trophies of your hard work. You have the job, you have the title, and perhaps you even have the acclaim that society tells you is the marker of a successful existence. Yet as your feet touch the cold floor, there is a heaviness in your chest that no amount of coffee can dissolve, a subtle gnawing whisper suggesting that despite all your movement, you are going nowhere. This is the condition of the modern soul. We are masters of the what. We know exactly what tasks must be completed, what deadlines must be met, and what metrics define our productivity. We are architects of the how. We have strategies, systems, and efficiencies that optimize every minute of our waking hours. We are busier than any generation in history, running faster and climbing higher. Yet so many of us arrive at the summit only to realize we climbed the wrong mountain. This creates a psychological dissonance, a friction between our actions and our essence, leading to that exhaustion which is not physical, but spiritual. As Simon Sinek profoundly noted, working hard for something we do not care about is called stress, but working hard for something we love is called passion. The difference lies entirely in the why. To truly understand this, we must look at the architecture of our own biology, for the need for purpose is not a metaphysical luxury, but a biological imperative. Our brains are divided in a way that mirrors this struggle. The outer layer, the neocortex, handles our rational, analytical thought. It understands the what. It processes facts, figures, and language. It is the part of you that reads a resume or analyzes a spreadsheet. But deep inside, wrapping around the brainstem, lies the limbic system. This is the seat of all human behavior, all decision-making, and crucially, all feelings of trust and loyalty. It has no capacity for language, yet it is where your why lives. The tragedy of modern living is that we spend all our time speaking to the neocortex, listing our achievements, wondering why we feel no spark. We are trying to talk our way into passion using the language of logic. But the heart does not speak logic. It speaks the language of belief. When you start with why, you bypass the noise and speak directly to the part of the brain that decides to trust, to love, and to endure. Think of the great leaders or the great movements that have shaken the earth. They did not rally people by sharing a business plan or a 12-step strategy. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not stand before the multitude and say, "I have a plan." He said, "I have a dream." He spoke to the why, the deep, abiding belief in equality and justice. And because he broadcast that signal, those who believed what he believed were drawn to him like iron filings to a magnet. This is the law of attraction in its most grounded psychological form. We are social animals, desperate for belonging. We crave to be around those who see the world as we do. When you clarify your why, when you articulate your purpose clearly and without apology, you stop chasing approval and start attracting your tribe. You become a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats to save. It simply stands tall, rooted in its foundation, and shines its light. The ships that need that light will find it. However, the journey to finding this purpose is often blocked by the debris of life. We are afraid to ask why, because the answer might demand a change we feel unprepared to make. We fear that if we look too closely at our motivations, we might find them hollow. We might find that we are driven by fear, by the need to prove a parent wrong, by the desire to silence a childhood bully, or by the frantic need to accumulate wealth to mask an inner poverty of self-worth. This is where the courage of the why becomes a heroic act. To start with, why is to strip away the veneer of the persona you have built to survive and reveal the person you were born to be. It requires a descent into your own history. Your why is not something you invent in a brainstorming session. It is something you discover. It is carved into the trauma and the triumphs of your past. It is found in those moments when you lost track of time, when you helped someone and felt a surge of energy that no paycheck could ever replicate. It is the golden thread that weaves through the chaotic tapestry of your life, connecting the disparate moments of your existence into a coherent narrative. Consider the metaphor of the cathedral builder. 3 stonemasons are working on a construction site, chipping away at blocks of granite. A passerby asks the first man, "What are you doing?" The man wipes sweat from his brow, looks at the stone with disdain, and says, "I am cutting a stone. It is hard work and my back aches." The passerby asks the second man the same question. This man looks up, smiles slightly, and says, "I am cutting a stone to build a wall. It pays the rent and feeds my family." Then the passerby approaches the third man, who is doing the exact same physical labor as the others, chipping the same granite with the same tools. But this man's eyes are bright, his posture is upright, and he hums a melody as he works. "What are you doing?" the passerby asks. The man pauses, looks up at the sky, and says, "I am building a cathedral." The what was identical for all 3. The why changed everything. The first man had a job, the second had a career, the third had a calling. When you start with why, you transform the mundane into the sacred. You transform the daily grind into a contribution to something larger than yourself. This shift in perspective is the antidote to burnout. Burnout is not caused by doing too much. It is caused by doing too much of what does not matter to you. This psychological resilience is crucial because life will inevitably bring storms. When the winds of adversity blow, as they surely will, the structure built only on what will collapse. If your motivation is money, status, or acclaim, those foundations are sandy and shifting. When the market crashes, when the applause fades, when the critics attack, you will have nothing to hold on to. But if your foundation is a clear, unshakable why, a belief in serving others, in creating beauty, in advancing knowledge, in healing pain, then the storm may batter you, but it will not break you. You will possess a tenacity that defies logic. This is the secret of the great innovators and the enduring spirits of history. They were not the smartest or the strongest. They were simply the most convinced. They knew why they were fighting, and that knowledge served as an inexhaustible well of energy. Furthermore, living your warrants. Why is the greatest gift you can give to those around you? We often think of purpose as a selfish pursuit, a journey of self-actualization. But true purpose is inherently relational. Simon Sinek reminds us that our why is always about our contribution to others. It is impossible to have a why that is merely to be rich or to be famous. Those are results. A true why is about the impact you have on the world. When you show up as your authentic self, guided by a clear purpose, you give others permission to do the same. In your relationships, you become a source of trust. Trust is a feeling, not a checklist. We trust people not because they are perfect, but because their actions and their words are congruent with their beliefs. When someone is unclear about their why, they are inconsistent. They say one thing and do another. They manipulate rather than inspire. But when you are clear, you are consistent, and consistency breeds trust. And trust is the bedrock of love, of friendship, and of leadership. Let us speak to the fear that arises when you contemplate this shift. You may be thinking, "I am too old to find my why," or "I have invested too much in this path to turn back now." These are the whispers of the ego, trying to keep you safe in the known, even if the known is miserable. But the human spirit is not designed for safety. It is designed for growth. It is never too late to align your outer world with your inner truth. The pain of the transition is temporary. The pain of regret is eternal. You do not have to burn your life to the ground to start with why. You can start today in small ways. You can ask yourself before you send that email, before you agree to that project, before you speak to your child, why am I doing this? What is the intention behind this action? By bringing consciousness to your choices, you slowly steer the ship of your life away from the rocky shoals of obligation and toward the open waters of inspiration. This alignment brings a clarity that cuts through the noise of the modern world. We are bombarded daily by thousands of messages telling us what to buy, how to look, and who to be. It is a cacophony of manipulation. Without a why, you are a leaf in the wind, blown about by every trend and every opinion. With a why, you are an oak tree. You know who you are. You can look at an opportunity that seems lucrative on paper and say, no, that does not fit my purpose. You can look at a challenge that seems terrifying and say, yes, this is part of my journey. This clarity creates a sense of peace that is rare in our time. It is the peace of knowing you are walking your own path, not a path laid out for you by your parents, your society, or your insecurities. It is the peace of congruence. Moreover, the Power in Words channel believes that the words you use to describe your life shape your reality. When you do not know your why, your internal monologue is often critical, anxious, and comparative. You say things like, I have to do this, I should achieve that, I am falling behind. These words are chains. When you discover your why, your language changes. You start saying, I choose to, I get to, I believe. You speak with authority and grace. You become the author of your own story rather than a character in someone else's play. The narrative of your life shifts from a tragedy of circumstances to an epic of intention. You realize that you are not a victim of your context, but a creator of your context. Let us look deeper into the shadows, for it is there that the light is most needed. Many of you reading this may feel that you have no special purpose, that why is reserved for the Gandhis and the Einsteins of the world. This is a lie. Every single human being has a unique value, a specific contribution that only they can make. Your why might be to nurture, to clarify, to protect, to challenge, to heal, or to build. It does not have to be grand on a global scale to be profound on a human scale. A mother whose why is to ensure every child feels seen and worthy changes the future of humanity just as much as a CEO. A teacher whose why is to ignite the spark of curiosity creates ripples that last for generations. Do not confuse the size of the stage with the potency of the message. Your why is your fingerprint. It is yours alone, and the world is incomplete without it. If you suppress it, if you hide it to fit in, you deprive the world of your unique light. As the poet Rumi said, don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. The process of unfolding this myth requires silence. You cannot find your why in the constant scrolling of a screen or the ceaseless busyness of a crowded calendar. You must create sanctuary in your life. You must sit with yourself, even when it is uncomfortable. You must look at the patterns of your behavior and ask, where did I feel most alive? Where did I feel most drained? The answers are there, waiting for you to listen. It is like tuning a radio. The signal has always been there, but you've been tuned to the static of the world. Now you must tune to the frequency of your own soul. This requires patience. We live in a world of instant gratification, but a subtle why is not a download. It is a cultivation. It grows slowly, like a deep-rooted tree. Give yourself the grace of time. Do not judge your progress. Just keep asking the question. Just keep listening for the whisper. As you integrate this philosophy, you will notice a shift in how you view success. Success is no longer about accumulation. It is about fulfillment. Fulfillment is different from happiness. Happiness is fleeting. It comes from what happens to us. A raise, a sunny day, a compliment. Fulfillment is lasting. It comes from within, from knowing that our energy is being used for a purpose we believe in. We can be unhappy in a moment, tired, frustrated, in pain, and yet still be fulfilled, because we know our suffering has meaning. This is the fortitude that allows a parent to wake up for the 5th time in the night to comfort a crying child. It is the strength that allows an artist to face a blank canvas after 100 rejections. It is the power that allows an entrepreneur to keep going when the bank account is empty. They are not driven by the what of the immediate reward. They are sustained by the why of the ultimate vision. Think of the legacy you wish to leave. When all is said and done, when the noise of your life falls silent, what will remain? People will not remember the car you drove or the square footage of your house. They will not remember your job title. They will remember how you made them feel. They will remember the light in your eyes when you spoke about what mattered to you. They will remember that you stood for something. To start with, why is to live with the end in mind. It is to craft a life that, when you look back upon it, you can say, I was true to myself. There is no greater tragedy than to reach the end of your days and realize you lived a stranger's life. And there is no greater triumph than to be able to say, I used myself up completely for a cause I loved. This journey we are discussing is not a straight line, it is a spiral. You will find your why, and then you will lose it in the chaos, and then you will have to find it again. You will have days of absolute clarity and days of utter fog. This is the human experience. Do not beat yourself up for the fog. The lighthouse does not stop being a lighthouse just because the fog rolls in, it just shines brighter. Be patient with your stumbling. The very fact that you are asking these questions, that you are seeking this depth, sets you apart. It means you are awake. Most of the world is sleepwalking, following the herd, obeying the how and the what, without ever questioning the source. But you are part of the Power in Words community, and you are seeking something real. You are seeking the resonance of truth. Let this be your invitation to a new way of being. Let today be the day you stop merely existing and start truly living. Look at your work, your relationships, your hobbies, and ask the hard questions. If a part of your life does not align with your why, have the courage to change it or the courage to leave it. This is not recklessness, it is integrity. Integrity comes from the Latin word integer, meaning whole. You cannot be whole if your actions and your beliefs are divided. You must bring them together. When you do, you will feel a surge of energy that is almost electric. You will wake up with a sense of anticipation. You will speak with a voice that commands attention not because it is loud, but because it is real. You will become a leader, not necessarily by title, but by example. As we draw this reflection to a close, remember that the world is desperate for people who know their why. The world is starving for authenticity. We are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. We are inundated with content, but starving for connection. You have the power to be that connection. You have the power to be that source of wisdom. It starts with a simple shift in mindset. It starts with turning your gaze inward. It starts with honoring the voice that has been whispering to you since you were a child. It starts with the realization that your life is not a to-do list, but a work of art waiting to be painted. And the brush you use is your purpose. The paint is your passion. The canvas is the world. So do not go back to sleep. Do not settle for the gray morning of the what. Demand the vibrant sunrise of the why. It is your birthright. It is the fuel of your spirit. It is the power that changes everything. Carry this question with you like a lantern in the dark. Let it illuminate your path. Let it guide your decisions. Let it be the filter through which you view the world. When you do, you will find that the universe conspires to support you. Doors will open where there were only walls. Allies will appear where there were only strangers. Meaning will blossom where there was only routine. You will not just survive your life, you will transcend it. You will find that the power you were looking for was never out there in the achievements or the accolades. It was always in here, in the silent, burning core of your conviction. The journey of 1,000 miles begins not with a step, but with a reason to walk. If this message awakened a spark within you, please like and subscribe to Power in Words. Join our community and let us continue this journey of transformation together.